So, part 2 here. Great. So, yeah, so wherever we left off, get some water. Yeah, so this kind of moment in time, right? It is the ultimate potential for human consciousness to expand. There has never been a time on this planet that has had as much potential for human consciousness to evolve. Right? And you think, well, why? That doesn't seem right. You know, it would have been great, you know, in Sat Yuga, you know, some kind of, you know, fantasy of all these, you know, rishis just, you know, all around and just complete, you know, spiritual society, and all the kings were halfway enlightened, and you know, everything was flowing according to Dharma. And now in this dark, this Kali Yuga, it's just, you know, it's a bad time to do yoga. Don't do yoga, right? All this nonsense. It's you know, all spirituality is gone. And of course we're transitioning, where all the spiritual truths are becoming more and more available. And the practices, the techniques, the enlightened masters are coming down. So it is changing, but still, this is the time. This is the ultimate opportunity. And not just for me, not just for you, everybody. You know, whoever you are, this time is the ultimate opportunity. And especially, again, if you feel like, you know, why are all these challenges and these obstacles, and you know, if only I could have been, you know, in a different place or different time. And it's really the wrong thinking, right? Because to be able to, you know, face this kind of pull of delusion, this kind of mass collective ignorance, to be able to take that, right, into your system and to completely clear it out, to completely heal that, to completely, you say, transcend, to realize a state of consciousness that's beyond that. What that means is that there's nothing that can touch you. You know, there's certain practices, right, in Tantra, right, where you, whatever, you know, a societal thing that is considered, you know, gross or nasty, you go and touch, or you eat shit, right? You go, look, go eat the shit. And then your mind's like, no, I don't want to eat that. No, that's the practice. Go eat it. And you're shocked, and you go and you eat, you know, or you face death, right? This kind of unknown, this darkness, this kind of something you'd rather not think about, and you just go through it straight through it. And again, in a time period or place where you don't have this kind of mass sweltering cauldron of ignorance and pollution, you just don't have as much opportunity, right? Where are you going to go in Sat Yuga? Everybody's just enjoying, everybody's blissful, and that's the same thing with these gods, these higher planets, right? They got shit figured out, you know. They're 10,000 years beyond fossil fuel. I mean, they're a million years beyond that. Right? They have unlimited energy. They don't, to them, like, this idea of limited energy is a joke. What are you talking about, limited energy? You live in a freaking cosmos. Right? Just imagine the energy of your sun. Your sun is just billions and billions of watts of electrical energy just pulsing towards your planet. And you're gonna be, oh, we need to fight over a couple of square miles of oil land? It's ridiculous. But that's the thing. These higher planets that have evolved beyond that, way beyond that. Where are you gonna face this kind of mass ignorance? It's not gonna be there. You're just gonna be enjoying, and it's beautiful. It's not like a bad thing, of course, but you know, there's still a certain evolution, creativity. You know, imagine the music. These beings on other planets. Literally, they make music with the sound of planets moving and the cosmic sounds, right? You can't, it's unimaginable. Their culture, their collective intelligence, you know, their ability to communicate non-verbally and all these things. Yeah, they have all that. And you might be thinking, that's great. And you know, what do we have? We have Fox News. We have Hannity and Combs. You know, these guys just, you know, arguing like there's no tomorrow. You know, and we have this starvation and these wars. And you know, we need to, let's just put a stop to it. End it tomorrow. And it's not that we're not, consciousness is obviously, it's working to clear all that out, but still, in this time, the opportunity is actually at its highest. You know, people think, well, man, it would just be a lot easier to get enlightened, if I didn't have all this, bullshit that was fed to me in 5th grade, right? And you can look at it that way, but that's wrong thinking. You're like, wow, this is the ultimate opportunity. All this suffering that I've gone through, this you've gone through, that whoever is existing, right? If you're somewhat sensitive, living in this kind of modern culture, naturally you're gonna have a sense of, you can call it like existential angst or like, what the fuck is going on? This is ridiculous. And why are we polluting entire oceans, right? Why are we having a water system that's just polluted with unimaginable chemicals and just being recycled and filtered over and over again, right? And wow, it'd be great if it was just this pure world and we all were just, walking around in all these flowers and everything was just perfect and pure and yeah, that's there, that's available. But the thing is, you didn't choose to be there. If you really, wanted to be in this kind of, spiritual plane, you'd be there already. Now, physically, I'm not saying you, yeah, this illusion, you can see it as this perfect kind of, all beautiful and beautiful colors and everything else, even amidst, even while we're experiencing this profoundly twisted culture. But no, there's actually physical planes, obviously, that have gone beyond already. But again, we've chose to be here in this time. And it is the ultimate opportunity for consciousness. You know, if you look at the Buddha, right? He had everything. He was living like a modern lifestyle, so-called, in a certain degree. You know, he had all the wealth and all the pleasures. He had all the comforts. You know, he had like ancient air conditioning. You know, I'm sure he was. You know, they constantly fanning and whatever it is. You know, and kind of live like, you know, like the comforts that we have today, that, you know, a lot of us have, that we take for granted, just like air conditioning and simple stuff. He had all that, and it was that base, that core, right, where he physically came down. He didn't just think, oh, I'm going to renounce all this wealth that I don't have. I'm going to renounce all these comforts that I haven't experienced. No, he physically, the divine consciousness came down in that body, in that prince, right? And physically felt and experienced and had all that, right? And all that kind of, you could call it temptation or whatever, that all that illusion, that Maya. You know, he even had a child. He got married, you know, and he had this young child, and he said, look, God, there's this child, holy shit. I'm really, you know, and that was the kind of last straw. You know, he's like, wait a minute, I don't want to get stuck with this. And it's not a simple thing, it's not a joke. You know, for a prince, you know, to have this world, you know, in his, this kingdom, just being handed to him. And this, you know, and being able to pass it on to see his son, you know, grow into the next ruler. My God, imagine what that would feel like, the kind of power and the attraction and again, it's not a greedy, it's not a bad thing. It's just there. It's a possibility in his life. He said, no, I'm gonna give this up. It's done. And to go from that to experiencing all kinds of tapas and everything else, and his whole path, his journey, right? And ultimately, you know, enlightenment. But the possibility of having that kind of Buddha lifestyle was unimaginably rare, right? In that 2,000 years ago. You know, 2,500 years ago, you didn't have people living with all these kind of luxuries. And see, the Buddha, you know, even though he was a prince, he didn't have Google, he didn't have internet, he didn't have iPhones, he didn't have, you know, 100 satellite TV channels, he didn't have access to you know, any, you know, spiritual tradition you can imagine, you know, any kind of human understanding, any kind of facts or information or history. He didn't have, you know, modern films, Lord of the Rings and Batman, that just give you a complete, you know, psychedelic visual experience of an entire, you know, fantasy world that just, you know, immerses you. He didn't even have that. And yet, millions of people living in this culture are having all these things, you know, mostly taking them for granted, but just having all this. And again, at the same time, while having all this, you know, still, you know, the people that are questioning and somewhat aware and sensitive, saying, wait a minute, this is fucked up. This is not healthy. Or, you know, or not even that. Even, you know, even if you're living in an aware way and that you're focusing on the health and your body's healthy, you say, well, wait a minute, there's a dimension to my existence, to this self, the spirit, that's not even that nobody's even hinted at within this kind of modern culture. That you know, it's either you're an atheist, or you have some kind of belief system, And that's it, or you're some kind of new age, you know, like some kind of new age positive thinking lifestyle or crystals. And so the sense of actual, a real experience of enlightenment, right? Even that is become like, is still in some sense a fantasy for the people that are moving towards that. It's like, well, wow, it's just, you know, you gotta, you know, go do some weird tapas sitting in the snow for 5 years. Well, ridiculous stuff. And so, when we can come and as spirits and say, look, I'm gonna take on this culture, this incredibly kind of diluted mass, and I'm gonna exist in that physically, and at the same time I'm gonna expand beyond it. I'm gonna realize the ultimate state of consciousness, the super consciousness, the bliss that goes beyond any kind of body-mind experience. This infinite intelligence, this power, right, to express. I'm gonna awaken that within this kind of culture. That's the ultimate thing. That's the blessing that we have. This is the opportunity that exists.